What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about two different stories. So for ease of use, and if you just want to skip one and go to the other, the timestamps will be in the description of when I swap from one thing to the next. So I want to start by talking about Forspoken. I did an entire video on my main channel, kind of going over all the reviews. I want to talk about kind of the drama with this game, some of the stuff that I've seen on social media, and then the second half of the video, I want to talk about a little Dead Space story that I think is honestly really interesting. We'll see how it ends up working. But for Forspoken, I really get tired with a lot of these. I mean, honestly, I think Twitter is a very enjoyable place if you go at it for at the right way or the right reasons or whatever. I think it can be rather fun, quite, just funny, I guess, in general. It can also be very life draining. I mean, Twitter is probably where you go to die, just, in general. And for Forspoken, Forspoken is the newest example, right? But it kind of happens for all of it. It's just exhausting, I think, to see the kind of back and forth battle. Now, not even taking sides, I actually see problems with kind of both sides of it. I've seen fanboys, I suppose, of both sides talking about the score. I've seen people saying, well, the dialogue is not that bad. It's comparable to like Uncharted and stuff. And I'm thinking, what? See, that's the thing with me. I guess that's probably so different. Is like I'm not coming at this from a fanboy in any perspective. But even if I do sound like it, maybe to some, then I also have these kind of little small tidbits. So one of the things I've talked about with Forspoken is play what you want. And I mean, that's a general theme with both of my channels. Play what you want, like what you want. If you want to go based off review scores, that's totally up to you. I don't suggest it, but who cares what I think? And I mean that genuinely. You shouldn't, right? So you have that point of view. So I guess you can look at that as maybe I'm defending the game. I'm saying, well, a 68, yeah, to a lot of people doesn't look so good, but Alex is saying, don't look at the score. I guess you can perceive it that way, but then I'll also say, there's a lot being made of the dialogue, and I will say I'm not a fan of anything that I've heard so far on the dialogue, and I guess it gets me almost to the point of being mad where I kind of jump into action in a video. Comparing it, now, there's been comparisons to like Avengers, like the kind of snark that Tony has. I mean, I don't know, but I will specifically combat the Uncharted thing, and these come from people that are defending the game, right? People that are saying, oh, Forspoken's not so bad, or Forspoken's fine. Saying that the dialogue, the cheesy nature of it is similar to things you would find in, I think I even saw a comparison to Horizon, but I for sure saw one to Uncharted, and I got visibly, Uncharted is one of my favorite, if not my favorite franchise of all time. The dialogue is not even remotely close. I think that's actually insulting to Uncharted. So with all that being said, I can sit here and talk about the pros that I think the game has, not having played it a day before. And I can also talk about the cons that I perceive that this game has the day before. But ultimately, it's very life-draining, and that, again, that's kind of why I wanted to. It's not a news story per se for Forspoken, just kind of like a message. Just do what you want to do. I guess I need to get off social media more around days like this, when it's just like, holy God, look, I never thought this game was going to be great. I also was hoping it wasn't going to be bad. Right now, I'm going into the game tomorrow. I will be dead honest, more excited than ever before, because I've seen what people have said, and I'm like, okay, we'll see how I feel. Like, will I agree with it? Will I think it's even worse than what some people have said? Will I think it's better? That gets me excited, probably for like a more sadistical reason than it probably should, but it gets me very excited. So I can't wait for tomorrow to play this game, because if it's a total train wreck, I mean, and again, maybe that's something wrong with me. That's a me problem. I want to be able to experience, and maybe it's good. I've seen people say good things about it as well. So just thought I would kind of throw this in here. Again, on the main channel, I talked about the reviews themselves. This one, it's more like just, Twitter has gone crazy, and that's what happens. Everybody kind of folds into a group. Everybody's in their protected bubble. People that are fanboys, they'll go after the other, or they'll compare it to great games and say it's not that different, and then that's maybe where I would start to like have some separation. Then you have people that purposely go after. I mean, there's so many different kinds of groups with all these kind of games, and Forspoken is the newest example. Being an exclusive does not help either, right? Because then you do have the back and forth between people that defend it with the nature that Sony is their overlord, right? Whenever you have an exclusive for either any console, I suppose, right? You'll have the people that defend it for the wrong reasons, in my opinion. You'll have people defending it simply because it came from a certain publisher, or even though Sony I don't believe is actually publishing it, it came from them. It's a Sony exclusive, so they feel the need to defend. And then you also have people that go after it, and then you also have people that go after it for also the wrong reasons. They'll only go after it because it's an exclusive, when I've said this message time and time again, that shouldn't matter at all. You shouldn't be praising a game or going after a game ever because of its exclusivity. Judge the game and get the rest of the garbage out of the way. So that's my opinion on that. Now, in terms of an actual news story, and I was debating covering this because I don't know, is it okay to kind of go into it? There's a spoiler, a leak, although it doesn't get too in-depth. So there's a trophy leak for Dead Space, okay? And this is where you can turn away if you don't want to see it. There's a trophy leak for Dead Space. All the trophies came out for it. And the final trophy, all the way at the bottom, is a specific trophy I want to talk about. It's only a description. It doesn't get into detail, which is why I kind of find it very interesting. And it actually makes me more excited now to play Dead Space on Friday, because it's like, okay, what is it? And so turn away now, but if you want to know, the trophy reads to play or see the alternative ending on any difficulty mode. So I don't know how you unlock the alternative ending. It seems like you can do it on any difficulty that you want. So what's the, how do you actually get it? We don't know. But also, an alternative ending? Does that mean they're going to start to get rid? This is not where I would start to go down the multiverse, right? At least in my opinion. If I were to start to bridge, I know there's a lot of love for Dead Space 3, and I do not hate Dead Space 3 as much as other people online. But again, I mean, if you look at it from just like a popular opinion, if you were to split from the established lore, I'd imagine you wait till after 2, right? Doing something in this game that changes the next game, 2, which I actually kind of like more for different reasons, that's an odd choice. However, an alternate ending, right? An alternate ending. That doesn't mean that it did happen or that's the path that they're going to choose to go down. I don't want to say it could be meaningless because, well, it has a trophy attached, so nothing could ever be meaningless for that, right? But I mean, no, you have something like that in the game. I doubt it's thrown in for literally no reason whatsoever. There has to be a reason. But is the reason big enough to deviate? And with that being said, it's going to be interesting to play it because it's like they've talked about, largely not touching the story. Like that's the goal, and that should probably be the goal for most remakes, right? You don't mess with that stuff. But then throwing in something additional, something to the side, well, what is it? Why'd you do it? What are the implications now for the future? I mean, we've talked about motive. Next up is Iron Man. So, I think this is the path to get Dead Space back in general. John Carpenter has already talked about, there will be a movie being made. He let the cat out of the bag, not directed by him. But, so Dead Space is coming back. And this game, I think, is kind of like the catalyst for it. But Motive, the team that made it, I mean, I don't think we're getting another Dead Space game till after Iron Man, which is, the next Dead Space game, 5-6 years away? It's a long way away. So I just wonder if it's kind of like an Easter egg little thing. It's not supposed to mean much, or is it, actually gigantic? And we don't know. I mean, that's the thing. It's a spoiler, because I guess, if you go into the game not knowing this, well, it's you're going to get caught with an alternate ending, and you're going to say, oh, that's neat. That's different, right? Where if you know it, it's coming, but I don't know what it is. You don't know what it is. You know what I mean? So that'll be pretty interesting to see what actually happens on Friday. And it's like an 8 to 10 hour game, so people should be able to get the alternate ending by Friday, by the end of Friday, let's say. So let me know what you guys think about either of these stories in the comments below. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I'll see you all on the next one.